Welcome, class of 2013. The only thing we're going to do differently this morning, or this afternoon, that feels like this morning, we've been together for a long time, and what a great graduation it was this morning. But we're going to make sure that we're tweeting out here. It's hashtag UNC 2013. It's already begun. We already took some pictures out in the hall, and they're on, so keep it up because we'll have an historic record that will be different than any other graduation. We are very excited to have you at this moment and to have all of you here at Carmichael. We have had quite a year. It's been a year of change and really a year of firsts. You began in August, a presidential election year. Conventions were right there as you started coming on campus, and a number of you got credentials and covered at the Democratic Convention for the Charlotte Observer. We elected a new governor in this state of North Carolina and a new legislature in Raleigh. About 100 of them elected for the first time. And so we've begun a series of briefings for reporters and for these new leaders so that the university and the school can play a role in democracy at its best. Some of you students have been part of those briefings. And now we have a new chancellor who will begin in July, the first woman to hold this place of responsibility in history. Yep, I will pass on to her that she got a round of applause and hasn't arrived here yet. Things are changing all around us, outside of us, and within our industry. And as the J School, we are doing all we can to get you all ready for more change. The good news is the economy is getting better, unemployment is down, but uncertainty, that's still going to be your backdrop. What we hope we have done is that we have succeeded in giving you the fearlessness to face the unknown and shape it. In fact, we hope you are prepared for the thrill to build something new, to discover new businesses and communication breakthroughs of the future, that entrepreneurial new thing. As I like to say, this is not your father's journalism school anymore. Yes, we're going to prepare you and have prepared you to write well, concisely, to know the difference between fact and opinion. We teach you what reliable information is and how to find it. But we do a lot more. Some of you are programmers creating a new digital storytelling genre. Some of you are magazine designers who are as comfortable on the app as you are on the glossy page. Others of you are sports journalists who can do play-by-plays and also produce a social media strategy that will create an audience that is engaged with ideas as well as with scores. Some of you have built out new branded business ideas for companies like Burt's Bees, or built PR campaigns for area nonprofits. Some, like Jane Hall, have won amazing new prizes given by entrepreneurial alums like our own Hulu's Jason Kyler, who funded the best graduation idea. Jane won, and she's headed to Eastern Europe to meet 3 startup digital companies before she begins her career at Google. Some of you have written scholarly arguments that have taken center stage at major research conferences. In fact, for the 2nd year in a row, our graduate students have taken the AEJMC Navziger-White-Salwin Dissertation Award. It'll be presented in Washington in August. You get another round of applause. See, it is a really big deal in this world. It recognizes the best dissertation in the country in the field of mass communication. And one of our PhDs this year also won the gold medal for the best history dissertation, and it was named after one of our own faculty members. We've got a good cheering gallery for the PhDs, and they're smaller in numbers, so you undergraduates get ready. Others of you are TV reporters and producers who have been or are on your way to San Francisco because you have won national awards in the Hearst competition. In fact, if I read all the awards that this class has racked up this year, we would be here for quite a while, and we want to get you on the stage. But we have won Hearst Awards in feature writing, radio and television. We've won the South by Southwest competition for the best multimedia production. The Inspire Award, given by the North Carolina Public Relations Association, not just this year, for the past 4 years. And we've won the Society of American Business Editors and Writers Best in Business contest for the 7th year out of the last 9. You students have excelled in every way. It's been an amazing year, and the faculty and the staff are very proud of who you have become and what you have accomplished. You know, we asked you to fill out, along with the little name tag that you're going to give as we read your name, to just put down what you think you'll be doing soon. A job, graduate school, internship. We're keeping track of where you're going. Last year's class, in 6 months after graduation, reported back 86% of them had jobs. And many of them are doing things that didn't even exist 5 years ago. You have skills thanks to your hard work and a great faculty. And even more, you have better values, thanks to a culture at UNC and the School of Journalism and Mass Communication, which inculcates really what matters. You are ready, and we are proud. This is an institution that has heart and soul. It breeds talent and relationship. Careers are nurtured and shaped here, and I'd like to have the faculty and the staff in the back of you stand up so that they can take a bow for all they've done for you, and so that we can serenade the faculty and staff up now. I'm giving a command. They never listen to me. Okay. We want to say, you've made the difference. The difference here is you've got personal relationships with many of the people who are standing back there. And there's also a class of 2013 new traditions that I want to share with you. We now have a parents' council, thanks to David and Betty Souza, whose daughter Kelly is graduating today. And they love the woman Kelly has become so much, they decided that they should link with other parents to help make sure that this school is a place where students are always challenged and engaged. Thank you, David and Betty, and to the other class of 2013 parents who are part of this inaugural venture. Ken and Sherry McKinney, Susan Sullivan Riley, Linda and Thomas Risk, and Caroline Williamson. And there's another new tradition on this 15th year of the Triad Foundation's investment in all our Park Fellows, our master's and doctorate students. We will be giving each of you, along with your sheepskin and your diploma, another first. You will be getting the book that tells the story of Roy Park, so you can know the man behind that Park Fellowship. And the last first are J School ambassadors. 4 of them are graduating this year: Josh Clinard, Margaret Cobb, Seth Crawford, and Megan Lyons. And what a legacy they leave. They conceived of and launched a new student-led organization that has welcomed new freshmen and transfers. They've hosted flash classes at night, and they organized the 2013 senior gift campaign. And they had one goal: to get the J School students involved in giving back and to beating Keenan Flagler Business School that has had a long tradition of the senior gift tradition. They wanted more J School seniors involved than B School seniors. Are you ready for the results? We had 132 students make a contribution. Keenan Flagler, 86! Ladies and gentlemen, you seniors met the goal. We beat the business school, and all of you in the audience, watch out for this class. They're reinventing the world. Our speaker today is a grad of our school, and he has reinvented the world, the TV world, among other things. Ken Lowe is the CEO of Scripps Howard Interactive. Ken majored in radio, TV, and motion pictures. Radio was his love, and he started his career while at UNC and jumped right into the world of radio in the 1970s. Talk about change. Ken rode the radio roller coaster and enjoyed every minute of it. But note his job title now. It's not DJ. He is CEO of Scripps Howard Interactive. Older alums in our audience may remember Scripps Howard as the newspaper chain. You are wondering, what is interactive? It's powerful, that's what it is. And Ken Lowe is a big reason why. You've heard of the Food Network? Well, it was a cooking show or two when Ken began it, and now it's an American pop culture icon. He also added the cooking and travel channels. And he now leads the company in futuristic planning on TV, on mobile, in print, and online. The company's future is a digital future. It's growing from the strength of the past, where good writing, better thinking, and powerful storytelling will always win the day. Will you give a warm J-School welcome to Ken Lowe?
Thank you, Dean King, for that very warm introduction. And greetings, graduates, family, faculty, loved ones. Congratulations to all of you on this solemn yet very joyful rite of passage. I have to say, looking out at you, you're much better looking than my class of '72, which is probably not high praise, but it's a good-looking class. My hope for all of you is that this day is a day you will always remember. And why not? Crystal Carolina blue skies outside, surrounded by loved ones, family, classmates, faculty. It's a great day. You know, it's an important day, and it's tangible recognition of years of study, of sacrifice, and achievement for the graduates. All of the folks who have supported you are in the room today and couldn't be here as well. You know, I am honored that you have invited me to share this moment with you. I cannot tell you how proud I am to return to my alma mater, share a few thoughts with you. It's always good to come home to Chapel Hill, trust me. And the years that pass in front of you will be all the more eventful when you do return. You know, this is a hallowed place for me, full of memories and meaning. It was a very important stop on my life journey. I left this place, like you will, young, full of hope and ambition, and armed with an outstanding education. I have to say, what I have learned has served me well. It's really been the foundation of my life and my career, and may it prove to be the same for all of you. Let me just pause for a second and do a special shout out to all the moms here today, because it is Mother's Day, so let's give them a round of applause, shall we? How many moms do we have in the room today? Just raise your hand. That's fantastic. These flowers are all for you, okay? You can't take it with you, but just enjoy them while you're here. I will tell you, soon-to-be grads, that the one thing you will always have in life is Mom looking over your shoulder. And by the way, that's a good thing. Just a personal example. Back when we bought the Food Network, my mom, who, by the way, I'm going to have dinner with tonight up in Pilot Mountain, North Carolina, just up the road. It's where I grew up. Now I'm looking forward to it. She called me right after we bought the Food Network, and she said, you know, I've been watching this thing all day long, and I've yet to see one show about biscuits and gravy. So when we brought on Paula Deen with lots of butter, my mom called me and said, son, you got this thing figured out. You know, I thought long and hard about what I was going to share with you today. I thought about talking about career and success. I thought about talking about the challenge of being a journalist or a communications professional in this age of social media and ubiquitous instant information. I even thought about sharing my own life story and the many experiences I've had leading up to this moment standing before you here today. But I decided, quite frankly, none of that would do at all. Instead, I want to talk to you about some of my favorite movies. Did he just say movies? Yeah. Well, I was a film major here. I'm talking about, by the way, some of the best motion pictures of all time, or at least in my opinion, and in the opinions of others, they are some of the best motion pictures of all time. Now, these are not only films of artistic achievement of the highest order, but I think they offer us profound truths and life lessons that we can draw inspiration from. But I'll let you be the judge, okay? Film number one, Frank Capra's classic, It's a Wonderful Life. Black and white, it's the best. Released in 1946. We all watch it every Christmas. We've all seen it. You know the story. Desperate, George Bailey wishes he'd never been born, and his guardian angel Clarence grants him the wish. Then George learns firsthand what the world would be like without him. Clarence, of course, is the film's conscience, and he delivers the moral of the story, if you will, with this line. Strange, isn't it, he asked, Every man's life touches so many other lives. When he isn't around, he leaves an awful hole, doesn't he? It's really a film about the importance of relationships. It's about caring for others. It's about recognizing your own self-worth and value as human beings, no matter what your station in life or how your career progresses or evolves, or in some cases doesn't. You know, George discovers the truth in the end the very hard way. And we all cry, and we know that what he found out is truth. Because Capra's film inspires us to nurture the significant relationships in our lives. Care deeply for those closest to you. You'll actually find you've expanded your capacity to care for others. But there's another message as well, a practical message about career, about ambition, and about expectations. It's about all of us with our ambitions and our hopes, about being focused less on material things and more on what's truly important: family, friends, classmates, happiness. We identify with George because he's us and we're him. We're tempted to think about our careers and how we mold them around what we have sometimes: a new car, a house, financial security. And some will do whatever it takes to get those. We tend to think of our careers in terms of advancement, of climbing the ladder, of rising to the top, right? Now listen, those in and of themselves aren't bad things, but Capra reminds us they are not the end-all, the be-all. They don't necessarily lead to a wonderful life. Meaningful relationships are truly what's important. Movie number 2, another classic, The Godfather, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, released in 1972. As a matter of fact, I saw this movie downtown when we still had a theater downtown. For many, maybe the best movie of all time. That's open for debate. I happen to agree. I want to draw your attention to one poignant line from the film, and that line is, "Leave the gun, take the cannoli." Fat Clemenza had just had the Godfather's bodyguard executed as an act of vengeance for his betrayal, remember? Remember his line? "Paulie, you won't hear from him no more." Well, earlier that day, as he left home, making sure, by the way, that his driver didn't run over his kids, Clemenza promised his wife that, "I'll bring home the cannoli for dinner." All in a day's work, right? Well, now there are two schools of thought about what The Godfather, the movie, is all about. Some think it's an epic tale about strong families, about loyalty, about love, about respect, commitment, and dedication. Others think it's a film about organized crime, violence, ruthless power. Human life has little value depending on which side of the mattresses the characters are on in this movie. You know, the awesome power of this film is it's actually about both. The dichotomy between the familial love, which we can identify with, and the violence which we wholeheartedly reject is what draws us in as an audience. We're empathetic and we're repulsed all at the same time. The conflict is irresistible and intriguing. Virtue and vice are intertwined so tightly that it's very difficult for us as the viewer to unravel the two. But in 6 little words, "Leave the gun, take the cannoli," Coppola captured the essence of the film. Separate vice from virtue. Leaving the gun and taking the cannoli, as it were. Good practical advice for Mafia Hitman, but actually I think a deeper lesson in life for us as well. Take the cannoli. Leave the bad things behind. Hold on to what nurtures. For example, keep learning. Never stop. Do not let your desire to learn stop today as you graduate. Never stop learning. Appreciate art. Enjoy music. Immerse yourselves in great literature. Read the classics and travel. Travel, travel, travel. Experience and understand other cultures and tradition. Develop an interest in your community, beyond your work, beyond your career. Help build a habitat home. Rescue animals. Come to the aid of the less fortunate. Become an advocate for women and children at risk. Support the arts. Volunteer to work and clean up a park. Extend yourself. Get involved. It will give you a valuable perspective. It'll keep you grounded. Take the cannoli. Okay, film number 3, Raising Arizona, direction and screenplay by Joel and Ethan Coen, released in 1987. I hope you've seen it. A real cult favorite, especially if you're a fan of the Coen brothers, which I am. There was a lot of controversy about this film when it was first released. A dark comedy, this film really drew the ire of advocacy groups who said it made light of a growing and very serious national issue, specifically child abduction. Now, given the horrific news from Cleveland last week and the epidemic number of abduction cases that began plaguing the U.S. about the time this film was released, the criticism, I think, was understandable and in a sense may even justifiable. The persistent problem of child abduction is a blight on the American psyche. It's an awful symptom of how disconnected we have become from one another and as a community of human beings. How, we ask ourselves, can this sort of thing happen and go undetected for so long? It boggles the mind. It makes us question the times in which we live. But the artistic irony of Raising Arizona, however, is in the course of this masterful storytelling, the movie ultimately is about doing the right thing. There's redemption at the end when Hi and Ed, and that's short for Edwina, realize the error and folly of their ways. They actually return Nathan Jr. to his home, and in true Hollywood fashion, all is forgiven. But there's one scene in the movie that I think particularly is relevant to this group of journalists and mass media graduates. Appropriately enough, it's when reporters gathered at the Arizona household are peppering Nathan Arizona with questions about his son Nathan Jr.'s abduction. One of the reporters asked, "Sir, it's been rumored that your son was abducted by UFOs. Can you comment on that?" By the way, I pray that's a sentence none of you ever utter. Now, I was in the TV news business long enough to know that the Coen brothers drew a very fine line between fact and fiction in that one scene. Now, I'm not going to name any names or point any fingers directly, but some of the reporting I've seen as of late, especially during the Boston Marathon tragedy, has, let's just say, left a lot to be desired. There's a lot of jumping to conclusion, lots of uneducated opinions, and inane commentary. I am looking to all of you and counting on you for a higher standard. Now, remember Nathan Arizona's sad plea in response to that reporter's question? If you saw the movie, his response was, "Please don't print that, son. If his mama reads that, she's just going to lose all hope." So I ask you, as future journalists, do the right thing. Do the right thing in your career as journalists and communicators. Do the right thing in the lives that you live. Do the right thing in the choices you make. Ask yourself, is it right? Is it fair? Is it just? And strive to be authentic. And being authentic means having integrity. Having integrity is the whole package, especially in the future world of journalism and communications. All right, film number 4, Citizen Kane, voted by the American Film Institute as the #1 film of all time. Citizen Kane was written and directed by Orson Welles in partnership with Herman Mankiewicz. It's about a fictional newspaper publisher who rose to fame, fortune, and power during the yellow journalism period in the early 20th century. While fictional, it was a thinly veiled commentary on the life and career of William Randolph Hearst. It was released in 1941, and it is a riveting film. The script is flawless, the cinematography breathtaking, the action and acting extraordinary. And of course, the story is timeless. That movie's life lesson, beware of unbridled hubris. Hubris, it's a Greek word. It means extreme pride and unrestrained arrogance. You know, the word often implies a loss of contact with reality, an overestimation of one's capabilities. For Charles Foster Kane, the main protagonist in the film, his hubris is captured throughout, but I think it's best epitomized when he declares in dialogue to his wife that people will think what I tell them to think. You know, I've known a lot of Charles Foster Kanes in my life, and I've seen many a career shot down by hubris. This is a malady I fear that's most prevalent among truly gifted young people. young journalists, potential journalists like you. Now, I'm not saying that we should live our lives full of self-doubt or second-guessing, but I do believe there's tremendous value in humility. There's value in being circumspect. There's value in being able to at least consider the possibility that we might be wrong, that we might not always have the right answer. I think this is extremely important for journalists. So I encourage you, be on the lookout for hubris. Be on guard for its warning signs. A closed mind, an inflated sense of self, unyielding self-righteousness. They're an anathema to success and a truly contented life. And by the way, if you haven't seen the film Citizen Kane, do. And remember one word, Rosebud, okay? Film number 5, the last one, is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This film is a treasure trove of philosophic nirvana, rich with wisdom for the truly laid back, and it sounds like we have a few in the audience. Clearly not the best film ever made, but this is a gem from the fertile mind of John Hughes, who directed and wrote the awesome screenplay. It was released in 1986. It became a classic. And Ferris Bueller gives us impeccable advice, doesn't he? He counsels, quote, "Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it." Of course, everything goes downhill from there, but I think Ferris's heart was in the right place. Hughes, through Ferris Bueller, reminds us to be in touch with our inner self. It's the essence of who we are. Whatever our faith or discipline, we do well to attend to the spiritual side of our existence. Your spirituality, hone it, take care of it. You know, there's great peace and contentment in contemplation and being able to center ourselves. Stay in touch with your core. It's what makes you, you. That's the life source of your greatness as an individual, as a human being, and as a person. So get in touch with your inner soul and allow that person to thrive and grow. Now, whatever you do, don't wreck the Ferrari. Finally, let me leave you with this. You are all entering the next chapter of a fantastic life, and you're in tremendous position to excel in this life. Why? Well, because you just happen to, in a few minutes, be a graduate of the University of North Carolina, the best university on the face of the earth, am I right? You're well prepared for the future, which is really about taking lots of information, lots of facts, lots of details, and editing them down to precise, usable, and focused takeaways, information, and yes, stories. The world, in my opinion, belongs to you, the editors of our future. When you think about it, just about everything in life is edited, isn't it? This program today is edited. This building was edited. The streets on which you came over today are edited. The menu where you ate lunch today was edited. Curation and the ability to take complex and sometimes difficult information and get it down to something that people can understand is very powerful. You have that in your hands. You're on the path to a great life. You know, much what I've tried to touch on today regards the heart. And your professors have done a wonderful job of focusing on your mind. You are so well prepared. And that leaves me with one final quote, one of my favorite quotes from Nelson Mandela. And that is, "An open heart, an open mind, or a formidable combination." One last thought, this one from our guardian angel Clarence in It's a Wonderful Life. Remember, no one is a failure who has friends. No one is a failure who has friends. So just before I sit down, I want you to take just a second. Look to your left. No, that's right, look to your left. Just kidding. Look to your right. Look over your shoulder. And just look around at the people who are gathered here today. Just take a second, soak it in. This is a moment, trust me, you will never forget. You will never pass this way again. You are soon to be graduates of the University of North Carolina. Izzy Zuma, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your day. I am so proud of each and every one of you.
What do you give a Tar Heel loves it? A Julian blue tie. Because I bet he couldn't afford it when he was in school. And you can see what good storytelling never leaves you. Okay, so now we begin the moment you're going to pick up the degree, and we say goodbye, but just for now. But here's where you're going. You're headed for jobs as professors at the University of Oregon, Indiana, Alabama, and Marist, to jobs at Google, Ketchum PR, Bloomberg, NASCAR, Triangle Publishing, IBM, Fox Sports, BBD&O, Atlanta, KTVZ TV, Red Hat, jobs throughout North Carolina and across the country. We send you out ready to invent the world, the business model, the future, and if you're like me, you're going to reinvent yourself a couple of times. So what you think you're to be now, give yourself a couple of other things to do. I think that this school has perhaps the most useful degree in the entire university because it teaches you to synthesize and strategize, to communicate, to translate, to question, to dig deep, to understand, to empathize. We teach you to think around corners, to see far ahead, and to tell stories. There isn't a successful executive or a politician in the world who can't do all three. We send you out today not simply graduates, however. You're UNC. We're launching you as leaders, and we expect much. So now it's time for all your family to recognize you individually. Deans Chris Rausch, Napoleon Bonaparte, and Rhonda Gibson, our indomitable leaders at the school, and the undergraduate and graduate front are going to come up now and give the degrees. And we're going to begin by honoring our outstanding students who join us on the stage from each undergraduate specialization in the master's and PhD programs. Chris, you begin the honors.
Thank you. The James J. Mullen Award to the Outstanding Graduating Senior in Advertising goes to Sophia Morales. The John R. Bittner Award to the Outstanding Graduating Senior in Electronic Communication goes to Will Reimer. The O.J. Skipper Coffin Award to the Outstanding Graduating Senior in News Editorial Journalism goes to Alexandra Barinka. The Lois and H.C. Cranford Jr. Award to the Outstanding Graduating Senior in Public Relations goes to Caroline Elizabeth Land. The Stuart Sechrist Award to the Outstanding Graduating Senior in Visual Communication goes to Julia Wall.
Our Outstanding Master's Student Award goes to John Russell Remensberger. And the Outstanding PhD Student Award goes to Jessica Gall-Myrick.
Melissa Abbey. Nazneen Ahmed. Sarah Akuvan. Lindsay Gaynor Albright. Malcolm Jordan Allen. Parker Thomas Alquist. Deanna Allroots. Faranak Amiri. David Hirschman August. Stephanie Baber. Spencer Mary Bacalar. Melvin Luther Backman Jr. Natalie Ann Baker. Alyssa Catherine Barbie. Alessandra Barnes. Jake Beavis. Carson Blackwelder. Ashley Nicole Blue. Emily Sanders Booker. John Bradley Booker. Stuart Whitfield Boss. Callie Andrea Bost. Adam Alexandra Bowers. Taylor Bridgers. Jennifer Megan Brodish. Blair Francis Brown. Courtney Brown. Florence Carney Bryan. Alexa Jordan Burrell. Rebecca Jill Bush. Elizabeth Gray Byram. Julian Michael Caldwell. Catherine Louise Carlson. Kirsty Lynn Castanera. Sterling Strudwick Cates. Carolyn Ashley Chandler. Wei-Chen Chan. Elizabeth Emery Church. Shelley Susanna Clark. Josh Kleinert. Margaret Cobb. Jasmine Nicole Cogdill. David Coggins. Alexia Ray Conley. Victoria Lee Cook. Sarah Cowell. Matthew Cox. Seth Crawford. Julie Sarah Crimmins. Ellie Crowell. William Archer Crum. John Akins Daniels. Elizabeth Fair Davidson. Susanna K. Davidson. Alexis Monet Davis. Carissa April Davis. Emily Elizabeth Dean. Catherine Denning. Catherine Elizabeth Dill. Rachel Beth Donlin. Catherine Renee Dry. Tiffany Dew. Lauren Elizabeth Edmonds. Stephanie Eisenring. Sorry. Mo Dabig. Charlotte Pascal Ekberg. Catherine Blair Ellis. Emily Ellis. Sefe Amik Pai. Heather Nicole Engel. Alexandra Engelhart. Kelsey Ann Fairholm. Mary Catherine Farmer. Melissa Nicole Flandro. Claire Karstens. Sitting out of order. Nora Chan. Emily Freeman. Karen Goldschlager. Alexandra Higgins. Paige Lager. Drew Ford. Lauren Ashley Fox. Emma Golly. Rahel Gibraneskel. James Gear. Dominique Monet Gilliard. Jamie Nazo. Alexa Renee Gelman. Johnny Gill. Alexander Giles. Jordan Ashlyn Graves. Molly Catherine Green. Leah Blair Griffin. Corinne Gard. Lily Fu. Colin Andrew Hodges. Jane Hall. Daphne Morgan Haribert. Avery Harper. Brianna Harper. Tyler Hardy. Leslie Harris. Elizabeth Henderson. Callie Fontaine Henson. Janae Henson. Sojung Hong. Cheyenne Hooks. Michael Horrigan. Lauren Ashley Houston. Aaron Hall. Sabrina Marie Hussein. Elizabeth Hutchins. Dorothy Irwin. Allison Ives. Eleanor Hope Jesse. Casey Annette Johnson. Nicholas Cameron Johnson. Grace Joyol. Ashley Michelle Joyner. Chesley Elizabeth Calnan. Jacqueline Cantor. Aaron Kelly. Jessica Kennedy. Minnie Jessica Kim. Katie King. Sally Haywood King. Kaylin Kirk. Avery Jesse Chapnick Kleinman. Jeremy Bennett Knight. Catherine Folger Knight. Fresha Kone. Catherine Austin Leahy. Jasmine Celeste Lamb. Rachel Lanier. Ryan Lee. Catherine Lee. William Leighton Armour. Kelsey Ann Lemire. Michelle Christian Lewis. Rosalie Lewis. Angela Rachel Lynn. Jamal Little. Ben Long. Chelsea Lowell. Greg Allison Lunsford II. Lindsay Olive Luxon. Megan Elizabeth Lyons. Sarah Elizabeth Maynor. Kaylin Malkowski. Susie Mann. Sarah Manser.
Angelica Ray Mercado. Brielle Martin. Thomas Owen Moore. Jessica Marker. Leanne McCann. Mary Park Chamberlain McCarran. Dustin McAnnis. Britton McNeil. Aaron Stephen Moore. Catherine Farthing Macklin. Kristen Drew Meyerhofer. Catherine Nicole Milani. Sydney Lauren McKinney. Emily Grace Mortensen. Allison Mary Driscoll. Kimberly Moore. Jordan Moses. Catherine Blake Murray. Laurel Hannah Nakas. Katie Nolan. Brittany Lauren Nona. Alexandra Claire Norris. Stacy Northrop. Pat O'Donovan. Alexandra Elena Perez. You want Jenny O. Jen. Jenny O. Catherine O'Neill. Nicole Marie Otto. Aaron Owenby. Let's go. Moni Sola. Osaliwame. Ozedite.
No,
Odedepo. Moni. Come on, Moni. Melissa Alexandra Paniagua. Chelsea Marie Parker. Kelly Parsons. Gia Partee. Marilyn Francis Payne. Haley Pate. Elizabeth Payton. LaDon Penagar Mitchell.
Let me know if you need any help there.
Natalia Perez Agini. Margot Penn. Brett Thomas Piper. Claudia Alexandra Plaza Rota. Kelly Poe. Jordan Powell. Brittany Ann Rhea. Arlena Sharnice Ratliff. Gabriel David Reynolds. Kathleen Carter Riley. Tessa Rhodes. Michael Rodriguez. Janice Mercedes Rojas. Brianna Shea Rolfe. Mary Alice Rose. Charles Royal. Congratulations. Allison Marie Russell. Ashley Russell. Danielle Saboria. Elizabeth Newman Sager. Elena Marie Sanchez. Anthony Sansebrian. Caroline Ann Schauberg. Gloria Elaine Sherberly. Catherine Marie McKee. Nice touch. Nice touch. Zach Skialis. Sarah James Sessions. Dawn Christine Sesta. Ilyasha N. Shabazz. Ebony Schamberger. Jody Michelle Singer. Haley Melissa Sklut. Alexandra Smith. London Ray Snuggs. These names. Ashton Page Sunger. Kelly Elizabeth Sosa. Jamie Sowers. Jamie Stanley. Jamie Alexandra Lavis Stagel. Ashlyn Steele. Kirsten R. Stone. Carolyn Stotts. Caitlin McLeod Strober. Emily Tracy. Janelle Vinson. Kenzie Sullivan. Kimberly Summers. Molly Sutherland. Benjamin Swanson. Jenny Talley. Ryan Tang. Ann Michelle Tessia. Destiny Thompson. Miss Melissa Ann Tolentino. Madeline Trubinsky. Megan Lindsay Turner. Courtney Kristen Ty. Johnny Ubri Cardona. Maria Van Alst. Kelsey Van Dyke. Courtney Lane Van Dyne. Mauricia Valerio. Ashton Faye Wagner. Christina Faith Walker. Paige Danielle Warmness. Millie Alice. Garrick, Garrick. Warren. Lindsay Allison Wheeler. Gina Wheeling. Anna Nicole Whitehouse. Jared Wicker. Rebecca Ann Wiedemann. Michael Whiteman. Ashley Ann Wilkes. Tashana Wesley. Chanel Larice Wilson. Chelsea Elizabeth Warner. Elaine Zhu. Christopher Rogers. Lisa Carolyn Willis. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's rock this.
Sorry. Ready? All right, our next group of students receive a Master of Arts in Mass Communication, Amanda Lee Adams. Cindy Austin. Scott Brennan. Jean Marie DiStefano. Catherine Faulkner. Kaylin Gunn. Laura Marshall. Leticia Maison. Scott McBride. Patrick Mustaine. And Katie Shoemake. And lastly, we have our students who are earning a Doctor of Philosophy in Mass Communication. Each one will be given the doctoral hood by his or her advisor and the dean. First up, we have Lorraine Ahern, who will be hooded by her advisor, Barbara Friedman. Next up is Roxanne Kosh, who will be hooded by her advisor, C.A. Tuggle. Jin Hong Ha, who will be hooded by Dr. Lois Boynton. Pit Patu Wayashot, who will also be hooded by Lois Boynton. Michael Scott Parrott, whom I have the pleasure of hooding. Lori Marie Phillips, who will be hooded by Dan Reif. Jessica Fitz Willoughby, who will be the last PhD student hooded by Jane Brown. Jane has retired. You do him first. Ryan Rogers, who will be hooded by Sri Kalyana Raman. And lastly, our outstanding PhD student, Jessica Gall-Myrick, who will be hooded by Sri Kalyana Raman.
You don't have to be that quiet. This is a big deal. You have now, come on, parents. Let's have a cheer. I told you we're really proud of you, and so many of you walked across that stage with the stride of Carolina confidence. It makes me feel good. But we have one last word, because you know, you graduates have really been looking forward to graduation for 4 years. Maybe 4.5, maybe 5, you know. But there are people in this auditorium who have been looking forward to this day for much longer, and they've been putting pennies into jars since the day you were born. They are sitting near you today, and they're behind you all of your lives. So I would like all of you to stand up right now. Take a look at your parents and cheer them for how the much support they gave you to get you here at this moment. This is not just your achievement, it's the family's achievement. Okay, so this is it. Journalism may be in crisis, but this school is not. We know who we are, and we know what we want for you. We want you to be more than successful, because you will be that. We want you to have a passion for informing the world, for shaping a conversation that informs people and sets them free, that believes in the power of words and in the imperative to give back to your family, to your community, and to your world. And come back to see us, because the door is always open. This concludes our ceremony. We're going to march out together to the sound of cheers and to that beautiful music over there, and you're marching and processing into your future. Make it the best.